The secrets in Zara's heart. Zara had always been the closest person to her father, Baba Ode. Ever since her mother passed away while giving birth to her, Baba Ode had raised her alone in their small village of Iluoro. Everyone in the village admired how he cared for her. He was a respected farmer and never let Zara lack anything. Zara loved her father more than anything in the world. She had never imagined sharing his love with another woman. But things started to change when she got admitted into a university in a nearby town. She was excited but also afraid of staying far from her father. "Zara, my daughter," Baba Ode said as he patted her back, "you need to go to school. It will help you in the future. I will always visit you." Though she felt uneasy, she trusted her father's words. She packed her bags and left for school, hoping that nothing would change between them. Months later, Zara returned home for a break, excited to see her father again. But as she entered their compound, a strange woman greeted her. "Welcome, my dear," the woman said, smiling. Zara's heart skipped. "Who are you?" Just then, Baba Ode walked out, beaming with happiness. "Zara, meet Mama Ode, my friend." Zara forced a smile. She felt as if her world had shattered. Baba Ode had never mentioned another woman. How could he replace her mother? She wanted to cry, but she held it in. That night, she watched as Mama Ode moved around the house, acting like she belonged there. Zara knew she had to do something. Zara decided to act friendly. She laughed with Mama Ode, helped her cook, and listened to her stories. Baba Ode was happy to see them getting along. But deep inside, Zara was planning something. One morning, as Mama Ode was cooking Baba Ode's favorite meal, Zara walked into the kitchen. "I see you are cooking for my father," Zara said, smiling sweetly. "Yes, my dear," Mama Ode replied proudly. "He loves this meal." Zara nodded but had a plan in mind. When Mama Ode wasn't looking, she sneaked into her room and took some money from her bag. Then, she placed the money under the table where Baba Ode kept his things. Later that evening, Baba Ode searched for his missing money. He turned to Mama Ode. "Mama Ode, did you take my money?" Mama Ode looked confused. "Me? I would never do that." Baba Ode searched around and finally found the money under the table. His face darkened. "How did this get here?" Zara gasped dramatically. Mama Ode's bag was near that table earlier. Baba Ode's face fell. "Mama Ode, I trusted you." Mama Ode tried to explain, but Baba Ode was too angry. "Leave my house," he shouted. "I don't want a thief here." Zara pretended to be sad, but inside, she was rejoicing. Weeks passed, and Baba Ode started feeling lonely again. One day, he met a kind woman named 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐸 at the village market. She was a widow who sold vegetables and helped people in need. Zara was furious when Baba Ode introduced 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐸 to her. "Welcome, my daughter," 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐸 greeted warmly. Zara smiled, but her heart was filled with anger. She had to act fast. Zara watched 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐸 closely. She noticed that 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐸𝐸 always kept her clothes clean and fresh. So, Zara came up with a plan. Late at night, she took one of 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐸's clean wrappers and soaked it in the dirty pond behind their house. Then, she carefully placed it in Baba Ode's bathroom. The next morning, Baba Ode walked into his bathroom and was hit by a horrible smell. He looked inside the bucket and saw the dirty wrapper. 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐸𝐸, he called angrily. "How can you be so dirty?" 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐸𝐸 was confused. "What do you mean?" Baba Ode pointed at the wrapper. "I can't live with someone who doesn't keep herself clean." 𝐟𝐸𝐫𝐸𝐸 tried to explain, but Baba Ode had already made up his mind. Once again, Zara had won. A few months later, Baba Ode met another woman, Binta. Unlike the others, Binta was strong, smart, and not easily fooled. She had a small business in the village and was well respected. When Baba Ode introduced her to Zara, she greeted warmly, but when their eyes met, Binta sensed something was not right. "I've heard a lot about you, Zara," Binta said kindly. Zara smiled, but she was already planning how to get rid of her. Zara decided to make Binta look like a witch. One night, she sneaked into her father's room and placed a small calabash with strange objects under the table. She knew that if Baba Ade found it, he would suspect Binta of using charms. The next morning, Baba Ade shouted from his room. Zara ran in, pretending to be surprised. "Who put this here?" Baba Ade held up the calabash. Zara gasped. "Maybe Binta. I don't know." Baba Ade's face darkened. "I will not marry a woman who uses charms." Binta stood her ground. "I did not put that there. Someone is trying to frame me." But Baba Ade refused to listen. Once again, Zara had won. But Binta was different. Instead of leaving, she started observing Zara. One day, she secretly followed Zara and saw her doing something strange in the kitchen. Later that evening, Baba Ade complimented Binta's cooking. "This is delicious." Zara's jaw dropped. She had put too much salt in the food to spoil it, but somehow, Baba Ade was enjoying it. Zara took a bite and almost choked. Binta smiled knowingly. "Is something wrong, Zara?" Zara realized she was losing this battle. Desperate, Zara tried one last trick. She found out that Binta had asthma. She knew her father hated anything that reminded him of her late mother's illness. One evening, Zara left a smoky candle burning in Baba Ade's room, hoping it would trigger Binta's asthma attack. Then, she left the house. But something went horribly wrong. The candle fell, setting the room on fire. Baba Ade, smelling smoke, rushed inside and found Binta unconscious. He carried her out, but not before the fire burned part of his face and body. Zara returned home to see her father in pain. Guilt crashed down on her. She had never meant to hurt him. At the hospital, Baba Ade looked at Zara with disappointment. "Zara, why did you do this?" Zara broke down in tears. "I just wanted things to go back to how they were, just you and me." Binta, despite her pain, said softly, "Tell him everything." With tears streaming down her face, Zara confessed. She admitted everything, framing Mama Ade, Hadiza, and Binta. Baba Ade was heartbroken. The hospital room was silent except for the sound of Baba Ade's slow breathing. His face was wrapped in bandages, and his hands were weak from the burns. Zara sat by his bed, her heart heavy with guilt. She had confessed everything, but she knew that saying sorry would not undo the pain she had caused. Baba Ade sighed deeply. "Zara, my daughter, I raised you with love. I never thought you would be the one to hurt me like this." Tears streamed down her face. "Baba, I didn't mean to harm you. I just wanted you for myself. I was afraid of losing you." Binta, who was resting in the next bed, turned to Zara. "Love is not about possession, Zara. Your father was never leaving you. He was only trying to find happiness." Zara lowered her head in shame. She had been so blinded by jealousy that she had not thought about her father's feelings. "Baba, please forgive me," she whispered. Baba Ade looked at his daughter for a long moment. "Forgiveness is not just about words, Zara. You need to show that you have truly changed." For the first time in her life, Zara had no plan. She didn't know how to fix what she had broken. Back in the village, their house was badly damaged from the fire. Neighbors gathered to help Baba Ade rebuild, and Zara joined them. She carried heavy bricks, swept ashes, and worked harder than she ever had before. Baba Ade watched her from his chair. He could see that his daughter was trying, but trust was not built in a day. One evening, he called her. "Zara, you need to do more than just work hard. You must make peace with those you hurt." Zara nodded. She knew what she had to do. The first person Zara visited was Mama Ade, the first woman she had driven away. Mama Ade was surprised to see her at her small shop in the market. "Zara," she said, raising an eyebrow. Zara swallowed hard. "Mama Ade, I have come to apologize." Mama Ade listened silently as Zara explained everything. When she finished, the older woman sighed. "I knew something was wrong that day. But I never imagined it was you." Zara felt ashamed. "I know my words cannot erase what I did, but I truly regret it." Mama Ade looked at her for a long moment, then nodded. "I forgive you, Zara. But you must also learn to forgive yourself." Zara felt a weight lift off her shoulders. But there were still 2 more women she had to face. 𝐼𝐸𝐫𝐷𝐸𝐻 was known for her kindness, but Zara had humiliated her. When she arrived at 𝐸𝐸𝐫𝐷𝐸𝐻's home, she was afraid the woman would not listen to her. But 𝐸𝐸𝐫𝐷𝐸𝐻 welcomed her inside. "Zara, what brings you here?" Zara took a deep breath. "I came to say I'm sorry for what I did to you." 𝐸𝐸𝐫𝐷𝐸𝐻's face softened. "I knew you did something, but I didn't understand why. You have a good father, Zara. He deserves happiness." Zara nodded, tears in her eyes. "I was selfish." 𝐸𝐸𝐫𝐷𝐸𝐻 smiled. "I forgive you, my dear. But learn from your mistakes. Don't let jealousy control you again." Zara felt relieved, but one more person remained, Binta. Zara knew that Binta was different from the others. She was the only one who had truly stood up to her. When she arrived at Binta's home, she found her outside, sweeping the front yard. "I was expecting you," Binta said without looking up. Zara's heart pounded. "You were?" Binta nodded. "I knew you would come. You are not a bad person, Zara. You were just lost." Zara blinked. "You don't hate me." Binta smiled. "Hate only makes people bitter. But you must promise me something." "What is it?" "Promise me you will never let jealousy blind you again." Zara placed a hand on her chest. "I promise." Binta held out her hand, and Zara shook it. It was the first time she had felt peace in a long time. Now that she had apologized, Zara wanted to prove to her father that she had truly changed. She took on more responsibilities at home, helping Baba Ode with his farm work and cooking for him. She even spent time with Binta, learning about her business. One evening, Baba Ode called her. "Zara, come and sit with me." She sat beside him, feeling nervous. "You have changed," he said. "I see the effort you are making." Zara's heart swelled with hope. "Baba, I only want to make things right." He nodded. "I forgive you, my daughter. But remember, love is not something you control. It is something you share." Zara hugged her father tightly. For the first time in a long time, she felt truly happy. As time passed, people in the village noticed Zara's transformation. The same people who once whispered about her cruel tricks now spoke about her kindness. One day, Baba Ode announced something surprising. "I want to marry Binta," he said. Zara smiled. This time, she felt no jealousy, only happiness for her father. The whole village gathered to celebrate. There was music, dancing, and laughter. Zara watched as her father smiled at Binta, and she realized something important. She had almost lost everything because of her selfishness, but now she had gained something even more valuable, wisdom. After the wedding, Zara decided to start something new for herself. She had always loved storytelling, so she began teaching village children how to read and write. People started bringing their children to her, and soon she had a small class under a big tree. Binta smiled at her. You have found your own path, Zara. Zara nodded. Yes, and it feels good. One evening, as Zara and Baba Ode sat outside watching the sunset, he turned to her and said, Zara, do you know what you have learned? She thought for a moment and then replied, that love is not about control. It is about trust and respect. Baba Ode smiled. Yes. And you have become a better person because of it. Zara leaned her head on his shoulder. Thank you for never giving up on me, Baba. As the sun set over the village, Zara felt at peace. She had once let jealousy rule her heart, but now she had learned the true meaning of love. And with that, a new chapter of her life began. Moral of the story: jealousy and selfishness can destroy not only others but also yourself. True love is built on trust, respect, and the willingness to let others be happy. When you choose kindness and understanding, you create a better life for yourself and those around you.
Enjoyed the tale? If so, please like the video, comment, share it with your family and friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more enchanting tales like this one. Goodbye.